Welcome, Blue Rockers. This is Blue Rock Talk with Connie Willis, and it's Crypto Connie here. That means we're talking to Stan Larimer, the Godfather of Bitshares, because this show is called BITSHARES Now. So, as we talk about BitShares, there's a whole lot of different things that kind of connect with it, and I guess it's all connected because of that blockchain. Stan, you can tell me better, but tell me about heroes. And, you know, as you tell it, kind of say how everything maybe is interwoven, because you really are interwoven. You've got the Steam, you got the EOS, you've got the BitShares, you've got the campaign, and many more things coming our way. But it's because, I guess, really the core is your son, Dan, who thinks this stuff up, correct?
Well, Dan is the one that has invented it. He invented BitShares, and then he did Steam it. Now he's working on EOS. Each of those is a new concept that he's working on, and of course, he learns as he does it. So each new one he does has new features in it that weren't present in the early one, but they've got a lot of compatibility to them, and you know, they just keep getting better. BitShares has been done for several years now and working, you know, just humming along smoothly. Doesn't need any more R&D or anything like that. There are things that we could add to it, and BitShares has the ability for people who have BitShares to vote to spend some of its reserve funds to hire somebody to add new features, and sometimes they do that, but generally it requires a large consensus of people all over the world to agree on adding a new feature. But in terms of the hero, it's one of a whole spectrum, a whole zoo of coins.
And it's pretty cool, though. I mean, it's got a whole different, I guess they're all different, but the hero's like the safe one.
Yes, and that's an important thing to know. Yeah. If I just took two, the BitShares, BTS, BitShares is like the exchange, BTS is the base currency of the exchange. It's the equivalent of Bitcoin outside in the old-fashioned cryptocurrencies, if we can say that about a coin that's only 7 or 8 years old.
You can in the internet world, in today's world.
Yeah, but it's still old-fashioned. But BitShares is the equivalent of Bitcoin. It has the characteristic of being very volatile, with people buying and selling in the market. On a day when there's more buyers than sellers, the price goes up, and when there's more sellers than buyers, the price goes down. And that happens for both Bitcoin and BitShares. But that's the one that's likely to grow by factors of 10 over a period of time. So if you're in it to invest in something that you think is going to be becoming more popular and having more users and more demand, then BitShares is the one to pick, BTS. But if you're going to say, no, you know, I'm not a risk taker, I just want a passbook savings account, I want a little 5% certificate of deposit, you know, and you know, most certificates of deposit are locked up. You know, you have to say, well, you know, I have to keep it in there for 90 days or a year, and if the longer I keep it in, the more interest rate they'll pay, you know. But these days it's hard to get a CD. Back when I was a kid mowing lawns, I could get a CD that paid 5%, you know, and I'd have to lock it up for a year. And if I took it out early, I'd lose some of that interest.
Well, that was the old days. That was the old days there, Stan.
Okay. Yeah. And nowadays, you know, it's hard to get even 1% for most things. But we've brought it back with the hero.
I love it. I think it's like something like Grandma and Grandpa would get the grandkids. I think it's something that somebody could give somebody as a gift, you know, for college or, you know, as a graduation gift or any type of gift. I think that's just a nice gift to give to people, even.
Yeah. It reminds me of the old savings bonds that my grandmother used to buy and give us kids at Christmas time. You know, we couldn't play with it.
You hate it as a
kid. Oh man, what's this? Yeah, but you know, over a period of time, they paid something like 5%. That varied. You know, there was always a little bit of change there, but people bought savings bonds and put them away, sometimes for 20 or 30 years.
Yeah.
And you know, that was a way of financing the national debt back then, I guess. But it also gave people a nice, secure investment that you know would appreciate at a nice rate. But you know, there were still restrictions on they didn't mature. You bought a $50 savings bond, and you had to wait a long period of time, many years, before it became worth $100, which is what it was printed on. It was called a $100 savings bond, but you bought it for $50, and you had to wait a long time for it to grow up to the full face value. And then you could keep it past that, and it would increase in value beyond that, even up to a point where it became mandatory to cash them out. So that was the neat thing to have back then. The neat thing to have today would be a hero, because a hero will grow at 5%, and there's no penalty for early withdrawal. So you keep it in one day, you get 1/365th of 5% growth. Okay.
Right.
But you know that you can buy and sell them all you want because they're a smart coin, and that means they're powered by a smart contract that guarantees you a certain number of BitShares equal to the value of that coin on that day. And so you buy them on one day, and you get them for well, there's a market for them too, and sometimes if there aren't enough of them to go around to get somebody to give you one, you might have to pay a little premium above what its guaranteed price is. But when you sell it back, if there's the same level of demand, you maybe get that premium back too. So there's a little fluctuation as you fight over a limited supply of them. But there's always a guaranteed floor on it equal to the value of the price feed. And that price feed is defined by the equation that says it's going to grow by 5% against the dollar every year.
And can I keep that in my BitShares wallet?
Yep.
Okay.
Mixed right in there. You can have BitShares and Heroes and all the other zoo from A to Z of different kinds of coins. And each one of those coins has a different characteristic. So you go shopping for it. Some of them are very risky, and some are not risky at all.
Well, I like the Heroes a lot. I think that's a great idea.
If you wanted to, you could mix your account, right? You could have half Heroes and half BitShares, and that would be half very stable and growing at 5%, and half very volatile and maybe going to grow by factors of 10. And you do it 50-50 if that was what you thought was your mix. If you remember another thing we were taught, I'm not sure if kids are taught this anymore or not, but it always used to be stocks and bonds were the two things you could buy. And when you're young, you're supposed to have maybe 80% stocks and 20% bonds. And then as you got middle-aged, it should be 50-50. And when you're retired, you should have mostly bonds, which are not very risky but don't return a lot, and not very many stocks, because if there's a sudden change in the market, you don't have that many years left to make it up before you retire. Well, you could think of BTS and the Hero as functioning in that same way of stocks and bonds. When you're young, you got lots of time, hey, get a lot of BitShares, you don't need many Heroes. As you get older, you might want to reverse that. But even if you're young and you're in a volatile market and you think that Bitcoin or the whole market or BitShares is going to drop in value for who knows what the reason might be. Someone could start a false rumor, a lot of people panic and sell, have a temporary downturn. You use your BTS to buy Heroes, and you can sit out the storm. It'll just sit there, it won't fall, even while BTS might be falling. And then when you think the storm's over, you come out of hiding, you sell your Heroes, get back into the market. And so even somebody who's young and got lots of time can use these smart coins as a temporary place to take cover in a downturn in the market.
And if I want to if I want to buy some Heroes, I can go right there in my BitShares wallet. Is that correct?
Yeah, there's a market right there that allows you to trade BitShares and Heroes against each other, and there's a varying market for that. It's a pretty young market right now. Not a lot of trading going on yet, but as some of the other business deals that we have pending come to fruition in the next couple of months, you're going to see that market really heat up.
I know, and I feel it, by the way. I can feel it. I can feel your excitement on it, too, and that's why, Blue Rockers, that's why I want you to get into this now, start getting this stuff now. I mean, I can't give advice, but if you hear the excitement of the things that they're doing, now's the time to get in there while the prices are low, because I think everything's just going to kind of blow up, and you're going to be very happy that you got in. So take a look at the description below, and you're going to see the links so that you can get a BitShare wallet. Also, other links that I'll include down there to make sure, Stan, you give me all the links that I possibly need for anybody to have, that we'll put down in the description of the things that we talked about here and any other time that we've done BitShares Now, so that you guys, Blue Rockers, can be in the loop and be there ahead of time when things hit. All right, that's the whole plan. Get in there now while it's low and be there when everything goes very, 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 very well for Stan and his son and family and friends. So you're watching BitShares Now. Connie Willis here, Crypto Connie, with Stan Larimer of the Godfather of Bitshares. It's Blue Rock Talk that you guys are watching. We've got more to come with BitShares Now.
3, 2, 1.